Hey, welcome back to another one of our Getting Techy with SaaS Alerts. My name is Ben, and in today's video, I'm going to teach you how to use the webhooks that we have built in to SaaS Alerts. This should hopefully remove any questions that you may have, and hopefully you can uncover some really cool things that you can do with our event data, even outside of our platform. Let's go ahead and jump in, and let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, for this, we are going to need a place to send our data. Essentially, what the webhook is going to do is it's going to allow you to take the logs that we're ingesting and send them to an ingester. And typically that could be another logging platform. If you wanted to maybe have an archived copy of all of the alerts that are coming into our system, that's a great use case. So this is going to be sending data to an address, whereas you have an API if you want to be able to query our system and pull event data out of our logs. So two different directions. This one we're going to be doing, like I said, we're going to be doing a send. And so we're going to need a way to know if we have set up everything correctly. For that, I'm just going to Google webhook tester. And one of the first sites that's going to come up is webhook.site. And this is a free service, doesn't require you to sign up, and will allow you to test to make sure that you are indeed getting data out of our system before you spend a bunch of time setting up your own log ingester. So only thing that we're going to need for this test is this URL right here. I'm going to copy this. And if you go to this URL, that's going to trigger an event over here. So I'm going to open it up in a new tab. And when we went to it, it generated a little test event right here. I'm going to block notifications for now. That way I'm not being blown up. This shows us, hey, that this URL is indeed working. You're also going to probably see this happen again when you add the URL to our system. So let's jump back to SaaS Alerts now that we have that in our clipboard. And let's scroll down to where it says settings. And if we scroll down a little bit farther and go to here we go, API, and we have a couple of things that we need to make sure are enabled. First, make sure that you do have you have agreed to the API policy. And next up, we're going to need a couple of things. Eventually, we're going to show our API, but let's go ahead and get started here. And that is with our added new domain. So this will basically, if we click on this guy, it's going to ask us for the domain, and that's what we're going to paste in here. This adds it to the list of approved domains that we have permission to send to. This is nowhere near completing everything that we need to do. This is just making sure that the domain is on the OK list so that we can proceed with the rest of it. We hit add, and it'll do a little bit of a check here. And if we jump back to our webhook, we see that SaaS Alerts did indeed reach out to this webhook site. And you can see that it came from an IP address that is not ours. As basically, there's not really any data in here. It's just our way of reaching out to make sure that the URL is indeed valid. If it wasn't valid and we're not able to get access to it, then it would be rejected at this, and you wouldn't see the domain added successfully message. All right, so now that we have our domain on the approved list, let's go ahead and show our API key. And this right here, we're just going to go ahead and copy this into our clipboard. Next up, we are going to go to the Swagger Hub site. And if you're unsure about how to get here, the URL is right here. I'll also put it down in the description of this video so that you can get to this page. This is a great place for you to get familiar with if you plan on doing anything with our APIs. I'm going to hide a little bit of this data so you can see what we're doing. But if you scroll down, this is our main page. We have two different webhooks that we can configure. We have the raw event webhooks and then the processed event webhooks. And the main difference between those two is, we pull in so much information from these different SaaS programs like Microsoft, and not all of the data is actually useful. Some of it doesn't have actionable data. Some of it's just kind of informational and not really worthy of presenting to you, because it is usually typically deemed like noise, honestly. But if you told us, hey, I want to know all of the data you're pulling from Microsoft, no matter what, then you would be looking at using this raw event webhooks versus the I want to see the data that I could pull up inside of the platform, and that would be our processed event webhooks. I'm going to show you both, but the easiest one for us to start with will be the processed event webhooks. Let's go ahead and jump in here. I'm going to click on this right here, and this will open up a new tab. So remember, we copied the API key. We're going to need that to do our tests and to configure our webhook subscriptions. The subscription is what gets the information to that URL, that webhook.site, or to your log ingester. So first off, we're going to click on authorize, and I'm going to scroll to the top here, and I'm going to paste my API key up here. I'm going to close that. So we have a couple of things that we can look at. We can pull customers, event types, we can send test messages, but what we're looking for is our subscriptions. So let's do this. First, let's click on Get Subscriptions, and we're going to hit Try It Out, and then we're just going to execute it. What this will do is this will get any sort of active subscriptions that you have. And if we had any, they would be right here and listed in this array, but there's nothing in there, so we don't have any. We'll come back to that once we set one up, but I just wanted to show you that. Same way, you can also come in here and delete these sort of subscriptions as well. It requires very little information other than just the channel ID, which we'll cover here in a second. So let's create a subscription. That's why we're all here. This is the data that's going to ask us for, and I'm going to break it down. It's going to be very easy for us. I'm going to slide this out here a little bit. If you're looking for some descriptions as far as what these different fields are, there's a bunch of information on the left here that we can use, but I'm also going to describe it to you. Let's go ahead and try it out. And honestly, we can configure our webhook subscriptions right from here. Very easy to do. And I'm going to pop back in here. So what we're going to do is we are going to create our very first subscription. There's a couple of pieces of information that we need to specify in this right here, and a couple that we can take out if we wanted to. So there's a couple of things that our system needs to know. It needs to know one of the primary things is either do you want to ingest all of a particular severity, like critical or high or low, or maybe all of those. And that's where you can specify that. Or are you looking for just specific event types? That doesn't matter what the severity happens to be at the time. Those are the ones that I want to know about. It's kind of an either or kind of situation. So I'm going to set up one that ingests only critical alerts. So if we look really closely, and I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so you can see a little bit better. If we scroll down here, we have a couple of options. Alert settings, recipients. So do we want to ingest based off of the people that are getting this alerts? Probably not. I'm going to go ahead and nuke this out of here. And now, do we want to skip to suppressed events? Maybe you want to not have them show up in your system if they're being if they're being suppressed in our platform. Well, I want to say no. I want to see everything. So I'll delete that one. Then let's look at alert statuses. This is the one that we want to really target. And this is alert statuses of critical. And these little brackets right here mean this is an array. So if we wanted to add more statuses, we could. I believe the only thing that we really need to do is just a comma and then just type in low. But we're just going to target our criticals. Now, are we targeting a specific customer ID? Maybe we don't want to have everybody. Maybe we're just looking for one customer. And the way you find out is if you go back to SaaS Alerts and you go into organizations, you have your little ID right here underneath your organization. So if we just wanted to do random industries, we could copy this ID right there. We could come back to our system and we paste it right there. But maybe I don't want to just target a specific customer. Maybe I want to know everybody. That's understandable. Let's do this. Let's select this guy right here, and we're going to copy him all the way to that comma right there. And the reason that we're doing the comma is that it's all JSON, and it's if you jump out that comma and you accidentally delete them, you're going to have trouble. event types. This is, remember where I was talking about, you could specify certain event types, and no matter what the criticality, it's going to trigger off of. So we could do either event types or statuses. We're going to do statuses, but I want to show you something. I want to deviate just a second, and I want to show you the alert types in case you wanted to do those. And you're like, what's the alert type? I don't know. If you click right here where it says get miscellaneous alert types, we can go in here and we can try this out and we can execute. And if we scroll down, here are all of our different alert types. And you should be able to make sense out of most all of these. But if you were targeting a specific alert type for your webhook, this is where you would do it. And this is where you get the information at least. All right, we're not going to do that right now, or it's another one of those things that we are going to remove. So let's do this. Select this guy and delete. Now, expiration. Do you want this to expire? Let's say yes in 2030. All right, next up we have token. This is a unique string that has to be different than any of the other ones that are in our system. Sometimes that's hard to determine what that might be. So I don't know if Ben's webhook 1 is taken or not. So what I usually like to do is I like to come up here and into the great Google machine and type in GUID generator. And I think it's the very first one. And we are going to click on that guy, and I'm going to generate just a random GUID. And that's what I'm going to use in my webhook. So for my token, I'm going to specify that. And also for the channel ID, I'm going to specify the same thing. Now it's saying, do you want to enable this? Is this enabled, true or false? Well, probably true, but I mean, I guess there's a reason you could do false. I don't know what that reason would be. And next up, we have our URL. And this is the URL that we want to send our data to. Let's go and back up all this text and delete him. And let's do this. Go in here. I'm going to copy this address, and I'm going to go back to my webhooks, and I'm going to paste him in here. So just a quick review, we are targeting alert statuses of critical. That's the ones that we want to know about. Expiration date of 2030. Token is a unique ID, as well as our channel. It's the same thing. That's fine. And it is enabled and sending data. So all of that stuff that was in there before was really just kind of optional. It only needs a couple of things. And if you end up removing one of those things that it does need, it'll let you know, and you just need to add it right back. Let's back out a little bit and let's hit execute. And if we did everything correctly, you'll see right down here the response body. It's telling us, hey, this is configured. This is for that partner ID, which is your partner ID, the channel ID right there, as well as the token, the URL, and everything else that you may have put in there. Skipped, suppressed is false, and we're doing alert statuses of critical. Eventually, we'll get some tests coming in here, and we'll kind of pick apart what those look like too. But that has set up your first successful webhook subscription. Let's make sure that we did this correctly. If we scroll all the way to the top, remember when we hit our get subscriptions right here. Oh, sorry, let's create. There's get. All right, let's hit this one more time. Let's hit execute. And if we did everything correctly, right here, our response body for that execution of that get lists the webhook that we have active. So good job. Now you just have to wait for events to roll in. And I will show you what they look like here in just a second. This is not a very active environment, so we may not see anything critical, but I will show you what to look for at least. Let's move back and go to our raw events, the one for the unprocessed data. I'm going to hide myself again. And let's click here for raw event webhooks. So this one is just a little bit different. It's going to be pulling a little bit different information. It's going to look a little bit more chaotic, but that is because you are seeing the events coming straight from Microsoft or Google or wherever you're looking for. So just be prepared when you start seeing those. This also is not formatted the same way. So we're going to take a look at that too. I'm going to authorize myself. I need my API key and should be good to go here. Let's go back. And there we go. So we're going to pop in this API key again and hit authorize. That allows us to do some tests. Just to confirm, we are under our raw event. Great. Let's see if we have any active subscriptions. So we're going to drop this down and we're going to hit try it out and hit execute. And we don't have any active subscriptions. The response body is null. Nothing there. So for this one, we want to do the same thing again. We're going to create a subscription. But if we look closer to the things, if we hit try it out, let's take a look at this. This is a little different. This is not asking the same questions. This is asking product type and endpoint ID. What is that? Enabled true. That makes sense. Channel ID, though. Okay, that makes sense too. Tokens fine. Expiration is also fine. An organization ID. It's asking for that too. So we have a couple of different things, don't we? That's okay. It's going to be really easy. So for this guy right here, let's find out first. We have to answer the question of the very first one on here is this endpoint ID. I probably know product type is probably stands for Microsoft MS, but let's make sure. Let's scroll down. And here we go. We have endpoint information. And this is another get. So we're going to drop that down. And here we go. We have all of these product types. We have Microsoft, Google, Dropsuite, Dropbox, a whole bunch of other ones too. Let's stick with Microsoft, but you can change it. If we hit try it out, you'll be able to drop this down, select whatever you're looking for. Let's select Microsoft and let's hit execute on this. And if we scroll down, let's take a look at the responses. So each one of these responses, and I think, here we go, I'm gonna zoom in just a little bit. Each one of these responses has a description and an ID number. So like I said, we're pulling from a bunch of different Microsoft endpoints with this guy. It may not be the same thing with every single product. Maybe one product only has one endpoint. Microsoft has a bunch. So if we were interested in email activity, we don't typically present that in the platform, but it is something that you could specify here. That's a possibility. How about sign-in data? How about anything to do with SharePoint? That's good stuff to know too. Risk detection. You have a whole bunch of things to choose from. Let's pick the obvious and let's go with number 7. Number 7 is going to be sign-in data. So let's jump back out of here a little bit. Let's scroll to the top and just minimize that guy and go back up to where we were building our subscription. So we've answered the question of endpoint ID. That was 7. Now we have to do a couple of other things. We enabled true, sure. Channel ID and token. We do need to come up with a unique one. Let's head back to our GUI and generate us some more IDs. Generate that one. And let's go up back to our right page and paste that over him. And token, let's paste that same random characters. Now, expiration, I think that might be optional, but just in case it's not, and you're kind of confused, like string, I don't really know what the string to use. Let's jump over here, and we can use the same string that we used with our processed event. It's the same kind of format. So we're just going to copy that guy and paste them in here. Set it to expire in 2030. This is asking for an array of organization IDs. Now, I may not want to get raw data. And like I said, raw data, it's a lot. So it's going to be giving you a whole bunch of information. You may want to specify these. I said this is an array, so you can add multiple. It's okay to add multiples under the same subscription, or you can make an individual subscription for each one of your organizations, up to you. For that, let's jump back over to our platform and let's select Random Industries and copy his ID. It's the same organization ID that we used or could have used in our processed events. Let's paste him in here. And now the last thing that we need to do is to specify our URL. We're going to copy this guy again, come back and paste him, and then hit execute. All right, screw all out and see. Cool, there we go. So our response was basically confirming everything that we have typed in. If we go back up to the top, hit our get and hit execute for this, we'll see that we have its response was, this is the webhook, the raw webhook that you have configured. One thing to note, it's not going to show you your processed, because these are two different webhooks that you're talking to. You're talking about the raw versus the processed. So your process is going to be over there, raw is going to be over here, and we don't want you to get them confused, because there's a pretty significant difference in data, to be honest. All right, let's do this. Let me show you what the webhooks would look like from both of these platforms. Let's see here. Okay. So this is a little different. I'm going to pull this screen over. So the processed event webhook would present you data that would look like this. It's cleaned up, it's kind of organized, it's giving you the information that you need and nothing that you don't. So lots of good intel there. This is everything that we know about this particular event. Same thing for this next one. Gives you a little bit more information, gives you all the same stuff that you would see in our platform. If you'll notice, the JSON right here looks identical to the one that you would see under our analysis. So something to keep in mind there. Next up, let's look at what a raw data would look like coming from our event raw endpoint. Click on that guy. And this is an example. This is a few events in here. And if you scroll down, you'll see it's kind of similar. It's still a JSON, but it's giving you a lot of information, and it's not all prettied up and beautiful like our processed event. But this, it's quite possible you may want information that we aren't processing, and this will be the place for you to pull in that information and run whatever kind of parsing or archiving that you would want. But keep in mind, again, this is going to be a lot more data than the processed. All right, so the very last thing that I want to show you is how to delete a subscription. Maybe you no longer want to have all this data, and maybe you decided that you just want to see processed, or you only want to see raw, or you want to make a change. So in order to do that, very, very easy. Remember when we used our get raw subscriptions? Let's start with the raw ones first. So we execute that. It's going to return all the ones that we have set up. For right now, we just have the one. So let's copy this token ID. I believe that's what we need. If it asks for the channel ID, that's okay. We made them the same thing. And if we scroll down, you'll see one of the things, yeah, that asks for that channel ID. If you see, one of the options right here is to delete. We can also update, by the way, if you did want to make a change. That's a possibility. Well, let's just delete them for now. We need the channel ID. It is the same thing that we made the token ID. Let's hit try it out. And let's paste in that channel ID right there, or AKA token ID as well, and hit execute. If you did everything correctly, it'll respond with the one that it removed. We can know that it removed it by going back up here to the top and just hitting our get again. So get channel, get raw subscriptions. We scroll down and the response body is null. All right, so now let's do the same thing for our process data. So if we scroll down here, well, we can hit get subscriptions, and same thing again. It's going to be the exact same process. And then this time we will copy the channel ID. We're going to copy this guy. And we're going to head down to delete subscriptions plus channel ID, hit try it out, paste that channel ID here, and then hit execute. And if you did everything right, it'll just show you what it deleted. And again, we can pop right back on up here and hit get. And you'll see that it's null. You also can use patch. Like I said, if you wanted to update a webhook that you set up, you'll do the same thing, very similar. You'll post in your channel ID here, and then you'll make whatever changes that you want. Basically it's you could even copy what you had set up previously and paste it in here and make those changes, and then hit execute, and it'll push out an update to that webhook. So I hope that helped answer some of your questions. But if you do have an additional question or two, feel free to leave them down below in our comment section of this video, or hop on over to our Discord server. We do have an API channel set up. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have run across. But again, I hope this is valuable for you, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care, guys. Bye.